developed by Ryuga Gotoku Studio and published by Sega, released for multiple gaming consoles in 2021, was Lost Judgment. Takayuki Yagami continues as a private detective in a post-Yakuza Kamurocho. After being involved with a case of groping, details later had it turn into a massive conspiracy that those involved would hope to make a mockery as well as destroy the legitimacy of the entire Japanese legal system. Through events, Yagami is brought to Seiryu High School in Injincho and is asked to join a mystery research club headed by Kyoko Amasawa. Defaulted intrigue had him do minor investigations to legitimize his presence at the school, and into a mysterious individual called the Professor. The initial claims are basic, as Yagami and Amasawa soon learn about what he needs to do to progress with the main story of the game, and the player has the choice of not necessarily continuing the Seiryu school-based stories. However, if the player were to continue to investigate further into the mystery of who the professor is and what they want to do, Yagami as well as Amasawa uncover a vast and in-depth conspiracy. Comprising of multiple side quests as well as sub-stories, it all emerged that the professor created a website where students at Seiryu could put up requests that might be taken up by the professor. As to what the requests were, it varied depending on what the particular student wanted the request to accomplish. Dialogue had it that due to the website, the entire school body became tempted to use the site, and as a result of the potential consequences, morale of the entire school became stressed and angry. It went even further than that, as the Keihin gang, which was broken up by Yagami, was reorganized in part due to the professor's actions. Each person who were the heads of the different social clubs at Seiryu were targeted by the professor had one thing in common. They were affiliated with a particular committee sometime before, and they all suffered as a result of the professor's meddling with their lives. Amasawa mentioned that the professor had quite the grudge against them on this complex plot that involved them took quite a long time to set up and was so impressive that even the police couldn't necessarily see the truth behind it. Ultimately, another member of the MRC was responsible, Kotoko Itokura. Prior to the events of the main story of Lost Judgment, Itokura was a superb student who was naturally gifted with technology. As mentioned by the dancing and robotics clubs, Itokura was a prodigy and could easily do complex functions all by herself. But due to the disaster that had occurred with the committee, it shattered her confidence in herself and in the Seiryu school system. Itokura later left school and just stayed at her home for days, weeks, months. Amasawa eventually theorized that she was completely obsessed with what had occurred and concocted a plan for a perfect revenge plot against all involved with what had occurred to her. Itokura became so disillusioned with friends, education, and even trust with others that she decided to partner up with the Neo Keihin gang to become a major force in the Japanese underground. Yagami searched multiple leads, infiltrated multiple organizations as well as groups, and befriended multiple people all over in Jinsho to uncover as much as he could about what Itokura had done, and even he was surprised at all that she was able to do under her alias. Finally, Yagami was able to convince Itokura that it still wasn't too late for her to stop what she was doing, and to finally let go of the trauma that had completely consumed her life. But the Neo Keihin gang desired to use the website that she had created and the social links that she fostered through her alias for their own ambitions, and through the post-Yakuza in Jinsho, the Neo Keihin gang became quite powerful, so powerful that if Yagami weren't to do anything, the Neo Keihin networks might become nearly as powerful as the old Yakuza families. Yagami, with Amasawa as well as the MRC, then used all of the connections that Yagami had acquired through his dealings, and as members of the motorcycle gang had termed the entire combined Yagami forces as the Yagami faction, eventually coming to a head with Yagami and all of the people that he had met being spread all over in Jinsho to stop the Neo Keihin gang and to save Itokura. The entire concept of the professor was something that the player had lot to fully look through in multiple chapters, as well as multiple scenarios, multiple situations, as well as multiple encounters of the game. And it was only possible to learn the truth about who the professor was. On what motivated them to target individuals was no simple accomplishment. It was a massive achievement. Through a good amount of the game, it built up an impressive story arc, and the entire event could be completely missed by players. On a good amount of them actually do not even know of the full details relating to the professor. The entire premise of the professor was the biggest subplot in the entire game. Sometimes a character can be forgotten because they were only learned about after doing multiple side quests on various errands before the truth of different characters relating to each other could truly be known.